Welcome to WERKS. I hope you enjoyed today's video, and if you do, please like, subscribe, and comment.
He grabbed one of those bars of soap. He unwrapped it in front of the entire crowd, and lo and behold, he had a $10 bill in that bar of soap, right? And he showed it to the entire crowd. He said, "Hey, I just doubled my money buying this bar of soap. You guys should try this out." So a second guy was encouraged. He stepped up. He put that $5 in Jeff Smith's hand. He reached his hand into that box, and he unwrapped that bar of soap in front of the entire crowd, and he held up a $20 bill. So a third guy was even more encouraged. Put that $5 in Jeff Smith's hand. He reached into that box, grabbed that bar of soap, unwrapped it in front of the entire crowd, and he had a $50 bill. So these guys were really making a lot of money. And you can imagine the crowd was in a little bit of a frenzy at this point. They were getting pretty excited to try their hand at making more money off of buying this bar of soap. So they were running at Jeff Smith, giving him $5. And, well, before all of those people realized that none of them had more than about $1 in those bars of soap that they had just bought, well, Jeff Smith and his three associates had ducked down a nearby alley, and they were completely out of sight. Of course, those three associates being the guys who knew exactly which hand to put their pocket in when they were pretending to buy that bar of soap, right? Now, it didn't take too long for the authorities to track down Jefferson Randolph Smith and his associates, right? So he was running this scam in Denver for quite a while. Yeah, this is a beautiful view of the train. Of course, we'll get that on the way down, so if you want to get a nice picture of that. We'll get another view of this on another bridge at the top of the mountain here, so I'll point that out to you guys. Anyway, it didn't take too long for the authorities to track down Jeff Smith. So they arrested him, and as you guys already know, most of the guys back in the day, they were completely illiterate, right? So the guy who was filling out Jefferson Randolph Smith's paperwork, they asked him what his name was, and he said, "My name is Jefferson Randolph Smith," and of course for someone who can't read or write very well, that was a really long, hard thing for him to try and write down. So he just wrote down the second best thing he could think of, and that was Soapy. So once Soapy Smith's gang members heard about this nickname that the authorities had just given him, well, they thought that was pretty funny. So the name stuck. And there, Soapy Smith was coined. Now, this was around the time that they started hearing about the gold rush happening, right, up here on Skagway. And Soapy Smith thought that that would be a great opportunity for him to start scamming some people out of their money. So he came up here to Skagway. And one of the first things that he did was he started a bar, and he called it Jeff Smith's Parlor. Looking for something. Don't mind me. Oh my God, you guys want some wildlife? There's a cobra out there. Why did that happen? We don't have cobras here in Alaska. Sorry, I won't see it on the way down. Someone thinks they're real funny. I don't know when that showed up, but it's been here for a while. Alright, now, if you look out across the valley, you can see these lighter streaks of green, right? So those are the avalanche scars. So during the winter, like I said, I mean, on top of these mountains, the snow can get up to about 12 feet, right? So we have avalanches pretty regularly coming down these mountains. And because they're so packed with snow, there's just not a lot of room for the trees to grow through. So that's why we have those lighter patches of green. The avalanches have their designated spots over there.
This happened every season.
Yeah. Avalanche Scars would be a pretty good band name. No? Presenting Avalanche Scars. Oh, this is fireweed right here. So those fireweeds, that purple flower right there, this little field here. So there, you'll notice there are no flowers on that fireweed. Oh my God, another big cat! Did you guys see that? Wow. So yeah, there are no flowers left on that fireweed there. That means that summer is pretty much over here in Skagway.
Caterpillar trap.
Yeah, I mean, we still got the beauty of Alaska. Just, we got to take the cold and the wind as well with it. Now, you'll also notice as we're heading up the mountain The trees are getting smaller and smaller. And that's also because these mountains are so packed with snow for most of the winter. And the trees just don't have enough room to get bigger than the ones at the bottom of the mountain. So if we get to the White Pass summit, you'll see the trees are like 3 feet tall. They're really cute. Look at that. No, so you can't hike the White Pass Trail anymore. It's just too dangerous, so it's illegal to hike the actual trail. People don't hike through here. The highway is over there. Yeah, that is the track that we were just on down there. But that is the highway right over there, and you can see the waterfall coming down the mountain. Yeah, the waterfall goes up pretty high. Down there. And then the Skyway River is still there at the bottom of the valley. But there are hiking trails that you can take that start on the Klondike Highway over there, up in various directions throughout these mountains. They're not the White Pass trails, but there are trails that you can take through these mountains. Now here is the point of the train ride where I would say, if you're afraid of heights, don't look down. If you're an adrenaline junkie, definitely look down. You're going to be able to see like 1,000 feet down into the valley here. Heading out on the platform. There's only one account of one train car that fell over the side of this mountain. I don't actually know the context of that story, but I know there is a train car down there somewhere. I think it's right down there. If not there, it's going to be in... I don't really remember. I need to find out, but I know that there was only one train car that's ever gone over the side of this mountain here. Not an entire train, just your train car. It does though. I don't know if there was ever a train car. I don't think there was. So maybe it was a test for one of the cars. I think we passed it. I'll try and find it on the way down. Alright, and we are about to cross our Wooden Crossel Bridge. You can see a view of that out the left here. And what that means is we are heading into our first tunnel, folks, alright? Now, one more time, we're really good at naming things here. This tunnel is called the Short Dark Tunnel. You'll see what I mean. You look down to your left. Oh no, the waterfall isn't there. Oh, there it is. We got a nice little beautiful waterfall. Uh-oh, here we go. Everybody hold hands. It is pretty dark. The name is fitting, isn't it? And there we go. Everybody made it, right? Right. Okay, if you look out to your left, between the behind those clouds, you'll see that little blue tint. That's a glacier up there. That's called the Carmack Glacier, and that is named after two of those original prospectors that found gold there in the Yukon, George Carmack and his wife Kate Carmack. If you recall those names, right? Yeah. Right? Okay, good. George Carmack and Kate Carmack. Oh, and is it already on? Wow. You guys saw that blue? Oh, you can kind of see the blue tint still right over there. But I heard some of you stood on a glacier yesterday, so that's like nothing to you guys right there. Yukon Railroad, right? This is the trail that these prospectors were taking back in the day. They were gazing out at the same views that we are looking at, right? However, what we've just done in an hour, they would probably be about 3 or 4 days into their trek up this trail, right? Now they're going heel to toe with the people in front of them. I mean, you're getting kind of exhausted. You're probably questioning why you started this journey in the first place, but it was at this point they would see the prospectors in front of them stop, look over their shoulder, and see that view right over there. You look out to your left and back. This is called Inspiration Point, and you can see all the way back to Skagway. You can even see your cruise ship. Look at the layers of mountains. We got those light colors of blue, and I mean, it's called Inspiration Point because these prospectors, they would look over their shoulder, you'd see that view back to Skagway. Now he was offering all these prospectors the chance to send a message home to their families for just $5. So they could say, oh, you know, I made it up to Skagway, I'm getting all my ton of goods, I'm about to head out on the White Pass Trail or whatever, just for $5, and Sophie Smith, he would start typing up the message. Now, if anyone was smart enough to follow his telegraph lines throughout the woods, well, they would realize that they didn't go further than about half a mile before dropping off into nothingness. So those messages were not going anywhere. But Sophie Smith was offering the chance to get a return message from their families as well. For an extra $5, they could hear from their families in the lower 48. Now, by some coincidence, all of these return messages went something like, oh, hey, Bob, how you doing? We miss you, we love you, blah, 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 whatever your family's going to say to you. More importantly, we're not doing too well over here in Tennessee. We're going to need you to send cash ASAP, all right, because we are not doing great. All right, love you, thanks, love your family. Now, of course, if you just got to Skagway, you don't want to hear that your family's not doing well, so you take all the money you got out of your pockets, you put it in Sophie Smith's hand, you shake that same hand, and you say, thank you so much, Sophie Smith, you're such a great guy. And he takes all that money, puts it right in his pockets, and says, no problem, you're welcome. All right, and then he puts all that money right in his safe. It's not going back to your family. I mean, that's the thing, Sophie Smith, he was scamming people right out of their money, under their noses. And he was maintaining this upstanding citizen reputation. You know, people absolutely loved him. All right, I'll get back to him in a second, but we're coming around the bend here. Now, what you're about to see is what's called the Steel Cantilever Bridge. Now, the Steel Cantilever Bridge is just a staple of why this railroad was such a civil engineering landmark back in the day, right? A marvel at that, honestly, because nobody thought that this railroad could be built, especially this bridge over here. Now, this was built over a 2,000-foot forge, and you can imagine these guys back in the day, they were just hanging off of ropes, nailing in those nails to those steel bars, right? With the wind coming through throughout the winter, I mean, it was probably doing it in darkness. They just had torches. They didn't really have a lot that was supporting them, right? Now, folks, nobody told me that we wouldn't be going over this Steel Cantilever Bridge my first time that I went on this train ride. It really looks like we are until you go past it. Good for you guys. We're in the caboose, so or we're in close to the caboose, so you guys can see the rest of the trains not going by. But this bridge has been out of commission since 1969, so it's been over here since then, sitting here for about 54 years. And that's because back in 1954, when we switched over from steam engines to diesel-electric engines, well, they would take them across this bridge, and the diesel-electric engines ended up being so much heavier than those steam engines that when they would go across this Steel Cantilever Bridge, the actual bridge itself would start swaying. You don't want, you know, there's already a gentle sway to the cars. Yeah, that was good.
That was not good.
But the bridge would start swaying itself, right? And you don't want this bridge to start swaying, because at that point it was like 70 years old, right? So they put it out of commission, and it was actually still intact until 2021.
Oh my gosh, look at that.
Yeah, that one's a stronger bridge, I promise. But it was intact until August 2021 when that part of it collapsed. We think it's just due to weather purposes. That was during COVID, so nobody was really coming up on top of these mountains. So nobody knows why, when, and how exactly that happened. But back in August 2021. So it was completely intact until then. Now, when the train would go across this bridge, when it got to the other side, you would have to put each of these cars on a turntable and turn them one by one around the sharp bend that's around that mountain right over there, right? So that was a very tedious process, and I'll be able to point that out as we're going across this tunnel here. And if you look out to your right and left, well, they speak for themselves. So we're still looking at the Skagway River with that green tint to the water. I mean, it looks like magic water, alien water. Glacial silt, so all the minerals that are coming off of the glaciers in that water. And folks, we're heading into our second tunnel. This is a little longer than the first. Anyone want to take a guess as to what it's called? Long Dark Tunnel! Here we go. It's about 3 times longer than that first tunnel. There you go, hold hands. Giving your eyes just enough time to adjust to the darkness. So get ready to be reborn in a second. There are bats. I've never seen a bat. Oh my god, look over there, there's a giraffe! It's too dark. Yeah, no, there's no bats here. It's too cold here for them. Don't know much about bats. Not up here on the mountain. The Red Onion Saloon has a ghost. Her name is Lydia. And I talked to some of the girls over there. They've experienced Lydia. She's nice to the women. She doesn't like the guys who go into the Red Onion Saloon. She like kicks them in the shins. She'll like, I think she grabs their shoulders. She's not nice to them. Alright, anyway, if you look out to your left, you will see the actual White Pass Trail. You guys see that little line right over there? Now you can't see it, but it's right down there. And right here we have our sign that says Trail of 98, and that is our signal that we are the closest we could possibly be to the actual trail. And you can see it right there. You can see how narrow it is. Like I said, it's like half the size of this aisle right here. Now there was no cleanup crew back in the day, so nobody was coming up here collecting the things that had been left behind by these prospectors. So what you can see down there is a bunch of rusted pieces of metal that have just been left there. They're like a century old, right? You can see a little pile of them right over there, and right down in the valley. You can picture horses and men, heel to toe, on that tiny little trail right there. And they're moving pretty slowly, especially if there's that many people, right? So couldn't even really skip ahead, because if you tried to skip ahead, well, they wouldn't let you into that line, right? Like I said, 12 hours to an entire day to be let back into that line. Now, more importantly, if you look at those trees, you can see the tiny little trees. They're like 3 feet tall. Isn't it cute? Now, you can see this red stuff that's on the rocks up here. That's called watermelon algae. I don't know why or how it happens. But people have asked me if it's blood, so I gotta let you guys know it is not. It is algae. Alright, now we're about to reach the White Pass summit. That means we're about to be crossing the border into Canada, alright? I do have some Canadians on board today, don't I? Where are my Canadians? We got you guys. About to be at home for about a couple seconds. Do you want to go home? We can leave here. Probably get back and finish out the cruise, right? Spent a lot of money on that. Now, something I find a little bit entertaining about those prospectors who came back, or who came up here back in the day, before the rush of the 100,000.
Thank you for watching WERKS, and I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did like the video, please give a thumbs up, subscribe for future videos, and comment. Thanks again.